Hey guys, in this video we'll see in a very simple way what is Angular Signal. Signal is a new reactive model that came into Angular 16 or 17. Now we no need to be do over engineering with the RxJS, no need to be do complex subject behavior. In this video I will show you how to use writable and readable signal. Readable is nothing but computed signal with a real world example, and I will prove it why signal are not just nice to have. They must have for every modern Angular development. Let's dive into it. So to understand the Angular signal, we will make it two components. One is the writable signal, another is the computed signal. The writable signal, in the writable signal, here we will simply increment, decrement and reset it. Means if you will change any signal, the value should reflect on a template. One more thing guys, signal is synchronous process. It's not required any subscriptions. We will simply change the value. We can read the value. It's behave like a local state management of a component. Simply we can change the value and that value reflect on a browser. So once we will change that value, if we are reading on a template, that value will be reflect on the template also. It's very similar to what we have in the React, the use state it also. In another example, we will learn the computed signal. Computed signal means if I wanted to just read the value and just modify it, like I wanted to do multiply by 2, or I will just add some value or some combination of the value, then I can use it. So over here you can see if I increase the product count, here the total price is also increasing. Similar to that, if I will add a new product, you can see this total is also increasing, and same way if we delete, then total price is updating also. So this is the readable signal. So only reading, so it's reading the value of these input, these product value, it's reading it. Okay, so let's jump on the practical part of it. So this is the Angular 20 application. Here I created the two component, the counter and the shopping cart. This component is totally blank. This is the type that we will use it later on, and this is the counter component that is also blank. These component we will use into app component template. So before dive into the Angular signal, we should understand one more thing guys. Earlier what happened, when we have the properties and we wanted to be display the property, or you can say combination of property on HTML, then we'll use the get property. So for example, we have the first and last name, and the full name we wanted to display on HTML. This full name we can bind it on HTML directly through the interpolations, right? So now these things we can replace through the signal. Okay, so signal is actually giving the reactive model approach. Means once I will change this property, or once I have the property, that property I can access. Suppose take an example of these are the two property we have, the first name and last name. These first name I can access it over here, but I need to access as a functions bracket. Remember this thing. And let me write down first name, and this is the function bracket. Similarly, we can write down the last name. But if I need to write down the full name, then I will have to use as a computed. Okay, computed example we'll take it the later on. We don't require the get property. Okay, so let's see the example of the counter applications. So here we will make count equal to signal. This is signal, and here the value is 0. Okay, this is the basically count we are using it. We will create a one function that is called increment, and here in increment we can actually either use update or either we can use a set the value also. I'll show you the both functions. Here we will use the decrement. Decrement, we are updating the subtracting the one value, and reset means simply reset the value. Reset we can use the set value also. So set is used to initialization of the value. So set we can use it over here also. How to use it? I'll just commented this one, and this dot count we can use it this way on. So what we are trying to do, we are getting whatever the count value we have, plus we are adding this one, or either we can use whatever the previous value plus actually we are adding this one. So this is the previous value guys. Okay, so update is also will work and set is also work, but in update one advantage we will get the previous value. Set, when we are to do initial the first time, then we should use the set only. So these functions we created, now we can bind these function on HTML. So we'll go in HTML, you can simply use it over here. So count is nothing, the basically the directly signal value, whatever the count we have. So this is the signal value. When we click the button, we can simply click the button. So this count and this bracket is might be confusing for us, which look like actually this is function bracket, but this is signal bracket. Okay, we cannot pass the parameter, but signal we need to use like a way. The signal is actually writable signal. Okay, and if you will hover it over here, you can see this is writable signal. Computer signal, we will make a readable signal. Okay, that we will do in a shopping cart example. In shopping cart example, suppose here I'm creating a signal with the initialization value that is called cart item. These are the value we have. And below we wanted to get the total items. So how many total item we have in a product, I'm just calculating it. So here total item count, or it can be total item, and equal to computed. So computed is a function that will hold a callback functions. Inside in it, we need to return the value. So here we are just quantity, and here we are actually getting the sum of the all the quantities. So this value will get it also. Okay, and once the cart value change, automatically total item will be changed. So we don't need to be recall it, we don't need to be reinitialization, we don't need to do. This is also a signal, but this is actually a readable signal. Okay, remember this thing, this is readable signal, normal signal. That is actually a writable signal. And this cart item is actually what we have is a collection. So directly the collections we can bind on HTML. Let me make it copy paste this one. And quantity also we wanted to show, we can show this div, we can close. This 4 bracket we are closing, and this is the div we are closing, and the total below we are showing the below of it. And we can close one more div. I think we have, yeah, we are good. Now we can indenting, and this is we are good also. This is a normal for loop that the new syntax came with. This is we are binding the value from the collections. We will get in this object. Normally how we are getting it, the same way we'll get it. But here is the thing is total item. So once we will add or remove any item, this total item is automatically will change. Okay. I'll show you the completed example. Here we can see this is completed example. So here we can see total price, average price, cart status, add sample item also. And all these things are nothing. This particular signal value we are updating. Okay, so here we are getting the value that is through the computer. Only at the time of getting, we should use the computer. Okay, once we change signal value, we should use update or either the set. So here you can see computed value. All three are we are getting it. These are the computed value. Even cart status is also computed value. We are not modifying any cart item value, but here you can say update quantity. Here update is the functions of that particular cart item signal. We are updating it. And inside in it, okay, this is returning it. So normal JavaScript map function and the filter function, on the basis of that, we are actually wrote down some logic. Whatever the logic value will be written, that value will be updated into cart item, and that value we will reflect through these computed value on a browser. Okay. Same thing over here, you can see we are updating the cart value through filter. Through the filter, we are removing the value. Here also same thing. Add sample item, we are updating the sample item, one value. So this is a way, guys, we can use a writable and readable signal that is actually computed. So that's it for this video. In next video, we'll learn actually new thing about the signal also. Thank you, guys. Have a nice day.